um, fundamental information. We'll go into it a little more critically. Um, for one, this is for the record books. Two, anything that pops out to anybody on any level, let's have a dialogue about it. So everything is given in degrees. We are in this movement to get competent to the point where we're able to be ambassadors and we can speak with the general public about a array of information, right? So keep in mind as we're going through this composition, just that, you're going to see where people are at and they're going to have questions or commentary about what we're going over. You want to give it to them at a higher degree. All right. So when we're dealing with a day, is a period of light between dawn and nightfall, and is that interval form of sunrise to sunset. Holy is derived from the ancient Sanskrit word halig, which means whole and sun. A week is a period of 7 successive days. The word day is derived from the word degree. The word day is derived from the word degree. It is the 24-hour period during which the Earth completes one rotation on its axis. This is called a solar day. The 7 days have holy names and are ruled or governed by 7 stars or 7 planets in our solar system. These holy names have been passed down from ancient time in the divine order of nature, which singular day is called Elo. The 7 days or 7 stars together are called Elohim, which applies to the Elo in their plural form or silical form. Oneness. The ancient sciences involving the 7 days have been traditionally taught, represented in mystical schools of higher learning, and infused within religious rituals and ceremonies by way of the symbolic display of, for example, the 7 candlesticks or the 7 golden candlesticks. Elo is derived from the ancient Moabite or Hebrew word El, which has been presented to the people of the earth as God. But we know God means to invoke. We went over that multiple times. The name El and Elo are synonyms and singularly relative by definition. Elohim is an expression of absolute divine power. Elohim is sometimes symbolized by the 7 candlesticks in the Bible. Elohim is sometimes symbolized by 7 stars. Elohim is sometimes symbolized by the number 7 in general. All right, so I'm going to show you this diagram before I continue. Can everybody see that? So it's the sun. It's the earth revolving around the sun. Can everybody see that pretty clearly? Well, you get the gist.
Right.
Okay. So this diagram of the symbol of the earth revolving around the sun has proven that 12 signs of the zodiac in the natural philosophy of astrology involving human character, intelligence, and action and reaction and human destiny is definitely not a myth, a superstition, as the Christian religious teachers and leaders, including those referred to as Masons and Eastern Star, have taught the unfortunate masses to believe. You are advised to begin with the sign of Aries and count the lines on the earth in harmony with the rays of the sun and end with the 12 signs in Pisces. Here, by reason, you will agree that the zodiac is the universal law and constitution upon which civilization is founded. Knowledge of the science of the 12 signs of the zodiac is in reality the great password and signs qualification. Your belief in the doctrine of priesthood religious mythology would definitely not stand up against the illustrated above diagram of the earth and sun, electrically connected and reflecting moon-shaped light and darkness. So everything you can think of is built upon that understanding of how basically the Milky Way operates, because that's where Earth is inside the Milky Way. And then you got the 7 planets, the 7 ruling planets that affect humans on Earth. And that lays the foundation for a variety of, you can take it any way now with whatever ology, but it's specifically astrology and astronomy. At an adept level, you're taking that information and seeing how it applies to why you do what you do, why you have the impulses you have. And that, now you become a doctor to yourself. You become a scientist for one. This is more science, right? Everything's from a scientific perspective, with your approach. All right, so let me let somebody in here. So marking the months or signs during its annual revolution, we're still talking about the Earth, 360 degrees, that rotation. To make that full circle, you're talking about 360 degrees, 360 days, right? So all that 364, 365 days in a year, that's a carnal, man-made type of thing, right? But if we're talking about scientifically, there's 360 degrees to make one full revolution. To make a complete circle, a circle is 360 degrees. That's just a Gnostic scientific perspective. It's not 360 to 4 degrees. That's just, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying that with emphasis to have you with a scientific mind, because this is more science. All right. So, um, peace and love, Benjamin Bay, and
Peace,
iPhone
love, bro.
13 mini. Um, let me check the chat. Who's, uh, who's that? That's brother, my Hawaiian brother. Who's iPhone 13? Okay, for sure. Yep, I was on point. It's my Hawaiian partner right there. All right, so the above natural 12 signs of the zodiac are referred to in the Bible mythology as the 12 tribes, the 12 jurymen, the 12 disciples, the 12 apostles, and Yakub, or Jacob's ladder of 12 steps. The sun in the center is referred to as the Christ, and healing the sick, lame, and the blind, and feeding the multitudes with 5 loaves simply means scientific culture of the 12 signs of the zodiac, which set one free of the priesthood slavery. Mythology fear is mankind's greatest enemy. Acadia is today referred to as Canada and Scotia, or Nova Scotia of North Canada, is the original Scotland, the origin of the Irish and the Scots, and the Anglia and the Saxons in Belgium. Um, you know, the majority of this paragraph is the focal point. And remember, we're ambassadors. We're competent nobles. Outside of you, look outside of yourself and look, observe as best as you can of what somebody else is looking at when they see you, fez and turban. They come up to you for whatever reason, but it's typically to get some gain some knowledge or figure out what you got going on. Pretty much why you wearing this fez. Like, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? So you may get hit with the whole religion thing. What is your take on religion? What's the Moor's perspective on? Are y'all Christian? Are y'all is that all of our Christian brothers and sisters specifically? This demonstration with the level head, not getting all just simply just let it flow out as the noble. Like this, when they're talking about 12 tribes or they're talking about 12 apostles, that's really symbolic for the, understanding the 12 constellations, the energies behind that, which gives you your character, your impulses, the way you view things, right? Understanding earth, air, water, and fire, understanding the elements within you so you can know how to remedy yourself if you are out of harmony, if you are imbalanced. You have the carpenter's tools to get you back in line or to put yourself around people or a predicament to get you back in harmony. Because we need certain energies to balance. Everything's about balance, polarity, harmony. That's what Islam is. Islam is peace. You only get peace through having harmony, which is a scientific uh, approach. You can approach it scientifically to get harmony. And typically, when you do that, what you'll find out is your carnal self is in the way. The only thing that makes this, what I'm saying, appear simple, but when you try to apply it on a daily level, you're gonna see up the carnal self, my old tendencies. I'm wrestling with it. You know what I'm saying? He goes that, and that's what this is. Know thyself, so you can master yourself. All right. Okay. So we're dealing with Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. You're dealing with the constellations that govern the northern hemisphere or the top of the world. It's called the crest of Asia. 180 degrees on the equator, referred to as Oriental in Islam, or the order of the Asiatic nation. When you're dealing with the other half, right? Because it's 12 signs total, 6 signs apiece. First 6 govern the northern hemisphere. Now we're going to the second set. We're dealing with Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, governed by the southern hemisphere, called the Trough of Euphoria or Occidental, the bottom of the world, referred to as West in Christianity, the order of European nations. Now, back to the polarity thing. If you notice in the first one, governing the signs that govern the North, is it used the term Oriental. In this one, it says Occidental. Yeah. Europa or Occidental. Remember, we did multiple demonstrations for whoever took electronics 101 when we're dealing with positive and negative. We're dealing with anode and cathode. And that's where you get Catholic. So that was the opposite of what we were doing, all the sultans and emperors and stuff like that. So that's the example. What I mean by, okay, brother the Virgo, okay, I didn't even know that. That's probably why we click, man.
I don't even know everybody's signs.
Yeah, I kind of figured that too. All right, let me continue the demonstration here. All right, so now we get into the Q&A aspect. So we have about 100 questions and answers here. How I looking? How I look to everybody? Can everybody make that out?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. Okay, that's what happened. All right. So who are the Moorish Americans? Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites. They are Al-Moroccans in modern times, who are the rightful heir apparents by birthright to America, North, Central, South, and the adjoining islands. Is Moorish American a nationality or is it a religion? Moorish American is a nationality, not a religion. What distinction is made between the spelling of the national name Moor, Moor, and Muur? Explain. Moor and Mur are simply different spellings of the same national name. The letters O and U are interchangeable. And the reason why they're interchangeable because they're vowels. Vowels are interchangeable. O E I U doesn't change with the like we were talking about. Or and Mur doesn't change anything. They're called vowels. It's the same expression. What is the ancient origin of the name Moor or Mur? The name Mur and Moor are derived in honor from the last high priest scientist of the ancient Moabite nation. His name was Mur Lu Akin El. What is the ancient name of the dominion of the Moors? The dominion of Amexem. And whoever wants to stop me and go into a question Q&A or elaborate or if this inspired a thought, whatever, let's talk about it because that's what this is about. What does the word dominion mean? A dominion is a territory, a realm, or domain where influence, the exercise of control, rulership, and sovereignty of a self-governing nation or state presides supreme. Give a geographical verbal description of the dominion of Amexem. The dominion of Amexem extends from Africa across the great Atlantic Ocean and includes North America, South America, Central America, and the adjoining islands. What is a continent? And name the seven of them. A continent is one of the principal land masses on the earth. The seven continents are Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, America, North America, and America South, and Europe. What is an isthmus? An isthmus is a narrow strip of land connecting two larger masses of land. So think about when you say isthmus, think about Central America, for example. When you're looking at Central America from an area point of view, it appears that that's the connect is connecting North America to South America. You got these two big land masses. North America is pretty big in width and length. South America is big in width and length, but Central America is not so big in width. It's kind of skinny, but it's connecting the two, right? Isthmus. Tazamajiel, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Um, let's see here.
Peace and love, Moors.
Peace of love. Oh,
Okay. Where is Piedras Negras? And what is it? Piedras Negras is located in the Yucatan of Mexico, Central America. Old Central Amexum. It is an ancient city, among others, where scientific complexes and advanced calculus, mathematics, breed experiment, and astrological research and advanced technological developments took place. So this is where a lot of the gene splicing and all the experiments that are, people was getting off into, grafting and creating mankind and all this type of stuff, or the Albion and things of that nature. Who is the founder of the Women's Auxiliary, an active social order of Moorish affairs, being a part of the Moorish Divine and National Movement? Sister Pearl Ali is the founder of the Women's Auxiliary. What is a civics organization? A civics organization is one that teaches or promotes the science of government and treats of the rights and duties and relationships of the citizens and of citizenship, usually involving a particular nation or state. What is science? Science is observation and identification, the description, the investigation, and the theoretical explanation of natural phenomena. Science is also any method, methodological activity applied to a discipline or study. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Circle 7, has 48 chapters. All of the texts in the chapters have numbers placed before the text line for assisting the reader in following and reviewing. However, one of the chapters has no number line marking the text as distinct from the others. What is the name of the chapter that has no numbered text lines? The chapter in the Holy Quran that has no numbered text lines is chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. What is Prophet Noble Jew Ali's free national name? Prophet Noble Jew Ali's free national name is Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali. What are birthrights? Birthrights are those divine rights and privileges that arise as at natural birth and are also special privileges accorded to or granted to the firstborn. What is nationality? Nationality is a status of belonging to a particular nation by origin, by birth, or by the political process privilege of naturalization. So if we're intact, um, now we naturalize people. The people of the land is really supposed to be doing the naturalization. It's not supposed to be the 14th Amendment. Like I said, if we got 20,000, 30,000 of our people organized, we got government structure. Now we can naturalize people because we actually have a government. They can come into our political structure. They pledge allegiance to the Moorish dominions. Let's see. What are hereditaments? Hereditaments are any kind of property that can be inherited, be it corporal or incorporeal or mixed. So corporal will be things you can physically touch. Incorporeal could be like intellectual property, which is not something you always can touch. It's just something, a know-how of how to do something. Or it could be a combination of both. But don't believe me, look these things up. Corporal and incorporeal as it pertains to inheritance. What does aboriginal mean? Aboriginal means from the beginning and refers to the natural or native people of a particular geographical area, indigenous. What does nationalization mean? Nationalization is the act of making one national in character, the act of a nation reclaiming its own, the act of a nation by its representative government converting or claiming rights to a sector of industry, agriculture, commerce, or public service, together with all associated means of production, from private hands or control, to that of governmental ownership or control, and to make national in character. So now, so we're making everything national in character. You know what that means? That means all our businesses have a Moorish culture or theme to the business. You come into the restaurant, you seeing Moorish architecture, you seeing fezzes, people greeting you, peace and love, right? Um, trucking, trucking business. The name of the trucking business got a fez on it on the side. Moorish Express. Whatever we're doing, car rental is more like whatever every business endeavor, a hospital, it's a Moorish hospital, everything Moorish. You're nationalizing and zoning the area. It's all because thousands of people are on the same page and organized and deemed it so. And remember, the thousands of people ain't spread out either. We're talking about one centralized area. So it's, you're seeing them every day. All right. So that's nationalizing the area. Similar to what Cuba did with the sugar. And this is not too long ago. That's why we can use that as a case law. I think it's nicknamed the act of state. Yeah, it's called the act of state doctrine. Where I leave off at. What number was that? 20. You're at 21 now. So I'm on 21. All right. What does naturalization mean? So we just read nationalization. What is naturalization? Naturalization is that political act that bestows by way of conditional privileges the rights and benefits of citizenship to an alien and clothing him or her with citizenship who adopts something or someone foreign. So that's why I said in the beginning, if we were intact, people would come to America and the Moors would issue out citizenship to people that want to apply for it. They'll take our tests. We'll deem to see if they're competent to be a citizen or adhere with the rules of that Moors. But since we're not intact, of course, black, Negro, color, Latino, Indian, religion, everything kind of separates us. You have an occupying power that's playing that position of, oh, you come to North America, you can be a United States citizen. 14th Amendment. Take this citizenship test, the Dar Manual citizenship test, Daughters of American Revolution citizenship test. So they getting a microwave lens of, oh, none of the people over here that were slaves, they got brought here. Everything we learned K through 12, they learned it in like a quick 2 weeks so they can pass that test, right? So uh, just think about that. So in the law of evidence, what qualifies identity? The collective aspect of the characteristics by which a person or a thing is definitely recognized. It is the sameness and the variable proof that a person or thing is exactly what or is who he, she, or it is claimed to be, charged to be, or represented to be. So now we get into like these municipal courts. The law of evidence is what determines your identification. So if you're saying I have a nationality, copies of the nationality card used as an exhibit in the municipal, if they keep talking about the straw, that doesn't qualify in the law of evidence of what constitutes identity. Your nationality can't be the state of California. So that gets disqualified in the law of evidence of what qualifies identity. You gotta talk like that. It's not really about just being emotional and say, it's you be exact when you're speaking, especially in these colorable tribunals. Um, and then you now you're steering the ship. Now when they engage with you, they have to show otherwise. Am I what I'm saying is a am I lying? Um, Show me in law where I'm in error. Because remember, these people are acting like they judges. So, I'll always bring up, are my constitutional rights being protected? Oh, so my constitutional rights ain't being protected today? Is that what you say? Just have fun with it. Just let them, you know, phrase questions at them. You put them on the hot seat. Oh yeah, your constitutional right gonna be protected. Oh well, according to this, you know what I'm saying? That, you know. Um, but as far as what I'm highlighting right now, everybody has a nationality. If you, especially if you're showing it, it'd be different if you're not bringing it up. Then they gon' you acquiesce. So whatever they talking about stands because you're not rebutting it. But once you rebut it and you pass the identification test, now it's a whole other situation on the court of law. Now on the side of the highway, in a court of law, where records are kept. Um, in a case involving natural persons, what are the clear and determinate key distinctions made about the status between nationalization versus naturalization? Nationalization pertains to inherited rights of citizenship by birth or reclamation or reclaiming, etc. Naturalization deals with conditional rights and privileges bestowed upon foreigners or aliens. What does Mappamundi mean? Mappamundi is the full and proper name for the map of the world. And when you look up Mappamundi and just go to images and just compare the differences of what the map, the most commercial map. What does Nabi mean? Nabi means prophet. Who was Ben Bay? And what did he do of world importance? Ben Bay was a free Moorish master astrologer and mathematician who laid the foundation of the Universal Apprentice Hall of the science of government, human character, unity, human equality, justice, and peace, or salam. Upon the 12 signs of the zodiac and the four squares of 90 degrees, he termed it the hub of the universe for perpetual universal freedom. Ben Bay is referred to in history by the European reconstructors of history as Benjamin Banneker. So you're gonna hear Benjamin Banneker before you hear Benjamin Bay, because that's the throw off. I don't want that Bay out there like that, because nowadays people gonna be like, oh, he connected to the empire, right? He's dealing with a Moor now. All right, so Benjamin Bay. What does the abbreviated letters MA stand for and represent as displayed by Moorish Americans? The letters MA stand for Moorish American and for Master Astrologer, the science of the ancient Moabites and Moors. So Master Astrologer, mastery of self. That's how you gain it through the astrology. Chart your stars.
Got a question. Mafia, I got a question.
Okay.
Is that, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that how they Big Ben in London? Was it after
Yes, sir.
Ben Bay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hmm. Yep. He created the time clock, which that's the zodiac. The time clock is the zodiac. It's 12, right?
Yeah.
That's the zodiac wheel. So the
It's like,
time clock is more science. I guess is what I'm alluding to. Yep. Um,
like,
Islam. So master astrologer. Benjamin Bay was a master astrologer. Moors on their square are more are master astrologers or should be aiming to be that because now you can forecast. Remember, we were the nobles and the seers. Even
Hey,
in our
brother Mafia.
yeah, peace and love.
Hey, peace and love. Hey, when you say astrology, right? I have a question about how our ancestors navigated the seas. How did they use the stars? Like I was thinking about that. How did they do that?
So the North Star is used for the navigation, for sense of direction. As long as you know where north is at, you can figure out, oh, okay, the opposite is south. Or, you know what I mean? And
How
then
you know
that's where
what the
you,
North Star is? How you know what the North Star is?
oh, it's shining bright at night. Yeah,
Okay,
it's the brightest star at nighttime.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I do want to throw something in. So I know I brought this up before, but Harvard University, they're offering like free online courses. They're like putting it out to people. And there was a course that was talking about like longitude, latitude, and navigation with constellations. So if you want to like more into that and kind of see what they have in their mini course, you can go on Harvard University and look up their free online courses if you want to know a little bit more details on that.
I,
Mhm.
I appreciate that. I remember that thing that you sent me, Mafia L, the astrology one where they was talking about the constellations. You know the sign, the one that you sent me, that link that you sent me to that website.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I
How you
mean,
feel
I
about
appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, but look into that what she said. I think that
I can send it to you. You can send it to
yeah,
me.
yeah, I'll send it to you. What she told me. I'll send it
All
to you
right,
later.
thank you. I appreciate it.
And
All
you
right,
need a certificate
Islam,
after too.
Islam.
Islam, more appreciate
I
it.
So,
I looked into that those Harvard courses. Um, it's more so of a general thing. Like if you want to just gain more knowledge, it wouldn't be something that you can like, like degree programs and things. So just to add that into what the Empress was saying earlier.
Okay,
yeah,
definitely appreciate it.
yeah,
Appreciate it. Islam, thank you.
yeah. Better get your feet wet since you're more on a blank canvas. You're on an introductory level right now, so that'll get you ready for the next level. So once you get that, then we'll take you to a higher degree.
All
You
right,
fun-
always.
yeah, yeah. But get the fundamentals. That's a good spot for the fundamentals. Uh, where I leave off at? Okay, so yeah, master astrologer. So that's what we aim to be. That's what we should be aiming to be for a lot of different reasons. Self mastery, um, forecasting, traveling the world, create medicine, when to do surgery, when to farm. Like it's everything's predicated on the astrology. All right. So explain the science that is symbolized by the four openings indicated in quad form in the graphic circle displayed on the center of the Quran Circle 7. So whoever's seen, especially the older Circle 7 Quran, it's a 7, and it's not technically a circle, it's four openings um, within that. So the four openings showed in the graphic circle displayed on the Circle 7 Quran represents the four gates of the universe and the philosophy and science of the studies of the workings of natural phenomena, nature. These four gates are also symbolic of the four seasons and the four cardinal points of their respective entries, being those of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The four gates are also expressive of the four elements of the earth, air, fire, and water, and the four squares of 90 degrees, which is also, I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's four holes on top of the fez, four main holes, and then they got intricate holes within that. So that's the same expression. Um, and it's back to the astrology situation. So Moors, any ancient civilization was heavy into astrology. Even the celebrations of the winter solstice, summer solstice, vernal equinox, atomic equinox. Most ancient Most ancient civilizations, they're celebrating during this time. Some type of gathering or, display of culture during this time. You're paying homage to what the seasons do for humans and the planet. You know, it's a reason you harvest, then you reap what you sow, and now you have abundance. Typically in the winter, you harvest in springtime. It's time to, reap those fruits, right? Enjoy the fruits of your labor. So 28. So we left off on 28. 29. Moorish national flag has a red field with a five-pointed green star in the center. Philosophically, we know that the five-pointed star represents love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. What planet does that green star also represent? The five-pointed green star in the center of the Moorish flag represents the planet Venus, whose attributes are love and fecundity or fertility. What is the holy name for the planet which is symbolized by the five-pointed green star placed in the center of the Moorish flag? The holy name given for the planet symbolized by the five-pointed green star is Hanael or Anael. All right, so Venus, which is one of the archangels, which is one of the Elohim, and all the Elohims have holy names. So Venus, holy name Anael. What does the name Elohim refer to? Elohim is the Hebrew name for God and is plural. That means more than one. That's what plural means. Singular means one, single. What does the name Elo refer to? Elo is the expanded form of El and is the Hebrew name for God and is singular. Both forms, plural and singular, are found in the Hextecha, which are the first six books found in the Old Testament. All right, so the Hextecha. Hextatech. So the first six books of the Old Testament. So in a sense, it's saying Torah, in a sense. Um, what is the holy name for Sunday? The holy name for Sunday is Michael. What is the holy name for Monday? The holy name for Monday is Gabriel. What is the holy name for Tuesday? The holy name for Tuesday is Zamael. What is the holy name for Wednesday? The holy name for Wednesday is Raphael. Remember, these are planets as well, right? Keep in mind. What is the holy name for Thursday? Sachiel. What is the holy name for Friday? We just went over that. Anael, which is dealing with Venus. What is the holy name for Saturday? The holy name for Saturday is Cassiel. What chapter of the Holy Quran, Circle 7, speaks to moral, the ethical, and the governmental issues of sovereign power and of its proper use and application? That will be chapter 29, dealing with magistrate and subject. So we left. This is 40. Well, yeah. Let's go back. Oh yeah, 40. So it gotta be right. All right. So 41. Who was the first sultan of the Moorish Empire? The first sultan for the Moorish Empire was Hammurabi Bey, or some them say Hammurabi sometimes. How many acts are the divine constitution and bylaws of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science? There are 7 acts in the divine constitution and bylaws. What is an affidavit? An affidavit is a written declaration made under oath before an authorized officer of a nation, state, or notary. So going to the notary isn't the end all be all. Competent people in your community that have nationality, culture, no jurisprudence can sign off as a witness on your affidavit. As long as you put in your affidavit that you swear that this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And you pledge allegiance to your nation, not state of California, not the, you're saying that same kind of lingo, but you pledge into your nation. As long as you say something like that at the end of your affidavits and there's two witnesses, that's an affidavit that can stand as an exhibit. So you don't need the notary to remember they're commissioned by the state of California. They're a deputy for the state. They're deputized by them. So it's strategy if you're going to use it for a strategy or whatever, but it's not necessary. All right. Name the five civilized tribes of the Moors, the five civilized titles of the Moors are Ali, El, Bay, Day, and Al. What is jurisprudence? Jurisprudence is that formal science and philosophy that treats of positive law. What is the ancient name for the Mississippi River? The ancient name for the Mississippi River is the Nile. So where's the Nile Valley civilization? Kind of makes you think, right? You're talking about this ancient Nile Valley, ancient Egypt, Nefertiti, and all these people. Where that really at? Right? These ancient Bible scenes. Where is Egypt? Who are the Choctaw? And what does Choctaw mean? The name Choctaw was given to one or more of the Moabite Muskegon speaking tribes of indigenous people in North America by the French. Choctaw, Choctaw is French for chocolate people. So Choctaw is not ancient in origin. That's a nickname given by the French because they're referencing chocolate people that they saw. So that's the Choctaw over there. All these chocolate people, because that's the origin is chocolate people. It's chaw, like chocolate, cha, Choctaw. All right, so once again, it was chocolate people in America for time immemorial, way back. All right. What is a sheik or sheikess? He said like me, brother Trey. Like you, yes sir. He said chocolate. Okay. Let's see. Okay. What is a sheik or sheikess? A sheik is a chief or adept title among the ancient Moors of the Eastern and Western hemispheres, and is a title of honor and respect given to one who merits such honors and positions of authority in matters of the community, of religion, or of the nation state. And of course, a sheikess will be, a woman. What is a sachem? A sachem is a chief or adept title among the Aboriginal tribes of America. It is a title of honor and respect given to one who merits such honors, positions of authority in matters of the tribal community, of religion, or of the confederation or state. So sheik, sachem, chief are all really synonymous. Okay, 49, 49. There we go. 51 right here. We're on 50 actually. What is a writ? A writ is an authoritative demand which is put in writing or the form of a letter, moving or running in the name of the Sultan, King, President, or State, addressed to a sheriff or sharif or other officer of the law, or directly to the person or party whose action the court or issuer desires to command. Writs are issued either as the beginning, so commencement is the start of a suit or other proceeding, or as incidental to the progress of a suit. Such writs require the performance of a specific act or gives authority and commission to have it done. What does the acronym GOD stand for? Now, we're talking about in this another sense. One, etymology, we know it means to invoke, but G.O.D is an acronym that stands for Government Ordinance Department, departments in government. So that's where you get penal code, statutes, and ordinances. Now the municipality is your God. You can't do nothing without paying this fine first because you got the ticket. You got to get this. You got to get this. You can't move without this. You can't travel without this. That's God now, right? That's God now because our people aren't unified. So we're subjected to Rome for lack of unity. That's the bottom line. All right. What does X relation mean or X rel? X rel or X relation means upon relation or information. So that's why when competent Moors do send writs into the tribunals, free national distinguished from the straw. The straw will be the X relation or the X rel. The actual human has information pertaining to this, but you're not that. You're here special appearance to clear up the matter regarding the X rel, but you're not. And now it's just a whole measure in jurisprudence at that point. Um, and I got to talk about this. The, the nail salon, right? Most of the people that got nationality and culture, we got a Vietnamese establishment. They had their free national, and then you scan to pay, and it got the straw. So it'd be like,
Kelly.
yeah, Kelly, but her name was something that wasn't, yeah, non something or something to win or you or something like that. But they're doing business as the straw. So this is why I'm bringing that up because this is not new. Everybody that has a culture that come here, they adopt a straw for corporate business, for transactions and stuff like that. And so what I'm getting at is that's their XRL. You know this Vietnamese person name is not Paul or Sally. You know they came here and adopted that. Because you're looking at them like, you know, like no, you don't even, you know what I'm saying? But that's an example of a straw. You're using that capacity for business, commercial activity, basically. Um, what is the original etymological meaning of the word religion? The original etymological meaning of the word religion is the study of the stars. So we back at the astrology. And we also know it's etymology wise, it's a compound word, re and legion, which goes back to realign or yoke together. And you're realigning your chakras. And in order to do that, you gotta master your lower self or the root chakra first to even climb that ladder for that active to the pineal gland to pop anyway, right? So all that is really what religion is, technically. How much does nationality cost? Is it expensive or cheap? Nationality is free. It arises at birth by the nature of bloodline or consanguinity. When you look up consanguinity, it just means by blood. On the 20th day of July in the year 1928, at a special meeting, what documented legal process did Noble Jew Ali and some appointed member sheiks initiate or do? On the 20th day of July in the year 1928, Prophet Noble Jew Ali and four sheiks appointed by him, being authorized at an earlier meeting of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, a civic organization, adopted as its corporate name the Moorish Science Temple of America with the religious affidavit of the corporation. So this is another example of what I just said. Vietnamese, Filipino, uh, anywhere, or any of our people from the East that come over here, they adopt a corporate situation and interface with the United States of America. Mm-hmm. So when Noble Jew Ali adopted a corporate name and called it the Moorish Science Temple of America, that's just the DBA. It's still a civic organization. And I went over this demonstration many times. We even used we went over the laws that Noble Jew Ali used when he did that in Illinois. And you still have power. You still have your own nation state. You just DBA. But all the sheiks was running the show. The members are making organic votes on things. And it has a national personality, international personality, because all the members involved have declared their nationality. It's not only an organization, but it's an organization of people that have nationality, which give it a different jurisdiction in itself. All right. What is the legal and lawful qualification for identity? In the law of evidence, identity must demonstrate sameness and the fact that a person or a thing must be the same as she, he, or it is claimed to be, represented to be, or charged to be. So now, I know we talked about that a couple questions ago, but this is a little different in scope because are you who you say you are? Divinely, right? That's back to like, are you just, some people just use more science to get out of stuff, but are you really who you say you are? Are you the Moor? Are you forming communities? Are you competent? What's your character? What's your demonstration? How are you dressing? What information are you putting out? All right. So everybody has a culture. Moorish culture has signifiers. Are you in harmony with the signifiers of your nation? Because most people know the Moors to be a certain way. Um, are you that? So that's kind of the test too. All right, so symboliography is the art or cunning rightly to form and make written instruments. It is either judicial or extrajudicial, with the latter being those instruments which are not yet judicially in controversy. Extrajudicial will be instruments such as contracts, agreements, testaments, or wills. Um, Speaking of contracts, everybody needs to really be comfortable writing writs and contracts and trusts. It should be in the back of your hand on how to articulate something and create an affidavit to assert your position. That's the more. What?
I got a question on that space. What would you recommend that someone who's like myself, that's like new to writing writs and things, what would be some type of study material or something I can have personally for myself to look at? Can I look it up online, or what type of thing can I do? Because that you're right, we do need to learn the lingo and learn the language and be able to do things ourselves instead of having contact you. We have to be competent. So, um, yeah, could you point me in the direction of some literature or something that I can self teach myself how to do it?
Okay. Yep. I'll send you some stuff right after the meeting. Yeah, I'll send you some links and stuff like that. Um, but essentially, it's really just a conversation about, the what's right and what's wrong, and then you give it a heading. So of course, if it's a trust, you're going declaration of trust. Of course, if it's a writ saying like, how do you derive your jurisdiction? Where's the inter party type of thing? Then you're talking about a writ of discovery. And discovery is just you have the right to see all the evidence against you. You got the right to cross-examine your accuser, and that's back to the inter party. So you will bullet point questions. Once again, I'm still gonna send you the link. I'm just putting like basically summary. Matter of fact, your nationality paperwork is a writ. It's a declaration, and it's in the affidavit style because you're getting the two witnesses at the end. So that'd be an example, but like I said, I'll still send you some more links. Um, okay, what is etymology? Etymology is that branch of linguistic science that treats the origin, the history, the form, the sense, the formation, and the derivation of words. What is an etymon? An etymon is the true or primitive form of a word, being its true and original signification. What is an allonge? An allonge is a piece of paper or note attached to a bill of exchange or a promissory note on which to write endorsements, which an endorsement is a signature, for which there is no room on the instrument itself. So allonges need to be a part of the contract. So you have a right to request that. So examples of allonges would be, for example, a mortgage note. A lot of people don't know, or a lot of people do know, is people that invest in mortgage notes. Anybody can invest in a mortgage note. It's like a bond. It is a bond. And they got like 6% interest, 5% interest that you can invest in the principal and you'll earn a return on your money within like 3 months, 6 months, 90-day increments, 3, 6, 9 months. You can cash in and get the extras, not only on what you put in, but the extras on top, right? So now on the flip side, somebody paying a mortgage at 6% interest, fixed or adjustable for the next 15 years, 30 years. So that you somebody paying the mortgage and then somebody investing in that mortgage and getting a return on that money because the person paying the mortgage entered into a locked in contract and they agreed to pay something every month. That's called a security. All right. So the note was a promissory note. So now I'm saying that for that reason, so y'all can see that it's a double side of everything. Now the allonge will be different investors. So the original promissory note got created. Now it's people that signed off and become investors. I got my money, boom. Now somebody else's turn. So now the person that's actually paying this mortgage, they have a right to see all that activity. And that's how you start undoing the fraud. See what's gonna happen is later, now that I'm talking about this, as a little thing, more things settle, um, meaning the land and all that type of stuff. we're going to start helping people with foreclosures. That's another part of the game that one body at a time too, because the allonge is one element of why the mortgage is fraud, because there's multiple investors in the instrument that got created because you endorsed it, your signature. You got this whole game started. You popped off all these people eating off that, and that's called a security. And there's rules and regulations on how to deal with securities. If you look up the SEC, that's called the Security Exchange Commission, and they have an internal affairs called Infron or something like that, and that's the police force for them. So once you blow the whistle, like, oh, it's been a violation on how they handle my securities, Merrill Lynch, all because every bank got a securities department, and and most of the time they're acting like, oh yeah, we'll invest with us, we'll invest your money in a way in a mutual fund, and we'll make sure you get a flip on your CD, and they're talking like that. But on the back office, is what I'm telling you, it's really about the stock market. Is people paying these mortgages, the blind faith in these instruments, which is creating finance for people to invest in. And you don't even know about it, or the person paying the mortgage don't even know that exists, right? The mortgage is a security, but that's really another scope. But the allonge triggered my mind because that's what that is. All these investors in that mortgage note is they're creating allonges. All right, so there is a chapter of the Holy Quran, Circle 7 of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science that corresponds with the character building philosophy of zodiac law and culture of the ancient ones. Name that chapter. The chapter on the Circle 7, Quran that corresponds with the ancient zodiac law philosophy, culture of character building is chapter 23. Chapter 23, Holy Instructions for Thy Children. There is a chapter of the Holy Quran, Circle 7, of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science that gives a lesson in the abstract allegory of character building. Within that lesson, the chapter speaks of the symbolic use of the compass and square and other tools. What is that chapter? Chapter 5. After the feast, the homeward journey, the missing Jesus, the search for him, his parents find him in the temple. He goes with them to Nazareth, symbolic meaning of the carpenter's tool, all right? So what does the cosmos science name for the compass and the square symbol? The cosmos science name for the compass and the square symbol is isonomy or isonomy. What chapter of the Holy Quran, Circle 7, describes the territorial geographical boundaries of the dominion of a Mexum? Chapter 47 of the Holy Quran, Circle 7, describes the boundaries of the dominion of a Mexum, which we know is northwest and northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast, which covers the whole world from Barbary to Tartary. Jesus means justice. What is the true name of the prophet who was called Jesus? The true Hebrew name of the prophet who was called Jesus is Yeshua, and there is no J in Hebrew, Aramaic, nor in any other Semitic language. What does genealogy mean? Genealogy is an account or record of a person's descent from an ancestor or ancestors by enumeration of immediate ancestors. So that's 67, 67, see, 67. Let's try this. 68, there we go. So 68. The Holy Quran, Circle 7 of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science was published in what year? The Holy Quran, Circle 7 of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science was published in 1927. What is the true name for that part of Asia that is now called India? The true name of India is Hindustan. Hekupta is a variation of the name Hat Kapata, the former name is an original name for what land area? Hikupta is an original name for Egypt. Prophet Noble Ali placed very strong emphasis on the charge for Moors to study, 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 and to study themselves. What does the word study mean? Study means to apply the mind to the acquisition of learning, whether by means of books, by observation, or by experimentation. It also means to think intently, to meditate, to reflect, and to try to collect something or to come to a decision. When historians and scholars make symbolic references to the one they call Jesus, they often use a sign of two counter fishing, facing fish. So two fishes facing each other in a counter way. What does that sign of the fishes represent? The sign of the fishes represent the sign Pisces, which is the 12th sign in the zodiac constellation, and the 12th sign of the zodiac. The sun enters the constellation of Pisces on or about the 20th day of February. What does the word noble mean? Noble means illustrious by rank, by title, or by birth, belonging to or forming the nobility of a country, nation, or state. Name the chapter of the Holy Quran, Circle 7, which is usually read before every formal meeting by all active Moorish groups and associations. Chapter 25. Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation is usually read before meetings. What is a nom de guerre? A nom de guerre is French in origin and means a war name or a pseudonym. So the nom de guerre would be, the black, Latino, Negro, colored, person of color. Those are called nom de guerre. Those are war names given by the colonists to denationalize you so you can't inherit. An act was passed by the South Carolina state legislature on the 20th day of January in the year 1790. The act dealt with the legal and proper status of the four men whose names were Francis, Daniel, Hammond, and Samuel. What is the name or title of that act? The name of that act is the Sundry Free Moors Act. And that could be used as an exhibit as well. That's an important exhibit. Because when you study that South Carolina case, which is called the Sundry Free Moors Act, you see that was a declaration of nationality. And 9 times out of 10, that's what you're going to be doing in real time. And if you're in any tribunal or municipal court, that's pretty much, that's the more what you're going to be there for. So you can use that as a case law of sort. What is the name of that original article of amendment to the Constitution for the United States Republic, North America, that was ratified in 1819, but has been removed from the textbooks and documents or hidden from the general public since around 1874? That original article of Amendment 13. So that's the amendment where it talks about descendants of Africans can never be U.S. citizens. The reason that's buried is because everybody that think they're black, Negro, and colored realize that they can't be U.S. citizens anyway. And it inspired them to work together and to spot the fraud of the Naturalization Act, right? Prophet Noble Ali appealed to the Moors of North America to enforce the Constitution for the United States of America. What is the only form of government sanctioned by the Constitution for every state in the Union? The Constitution sanctions only a Republican form of government for every state in the Union. Prophet Noble Ali appealed to Moors to have a greater respect for womanhood. In symbolic display, he placed the sword of humanity, he placed the word humanity on a graphic image located on a book. Name that book and describe the placement in the word humanity. The graphic image where Noble Drew Ali placed the word humanity is on the front cover of the questionnaire scroll. The word humanity is placed on the womb of the unconscious woman held in his arms. There is an ancient Moabite woman named Ruth who was united in matrimony to a man named Boaz. What relationship does Ruth have to the one who has been called Jesus? Ruth is the great grandmother of Yahshua, who was later called Jesus by the Romans. The ancient Moabites and Hebrew or Ibri are extended natural people of the same family and bloodline origins. What is the Semitic meaning for the word Hebrew or Ibri? Hebrew or Ibri means one who crossed over the river or one from the other side of the river. In the questionnaire scroll of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, question number 16 states, how did the Prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? The answer to the question number 16 is by teaching them to be themselves. What is the legal phrase or term in law that expresses one who is being proper and correct in being oneself? That legal phrase for one being one's own proper self is impropria persona. Impropria persona. 83. It has been established in the courts of the United States of North America that there is no legal technical signification to the phrase colored people, which the courts are bound judicially to know. What is the legal definition of the word color? Color means an appearance, a semblance, or a simulacrum, as distinguished from that which is real. It is a prima facie or apparent right. Hence, color is a deceptive appearance and is a plausible assumed exterior, concealing a lack of reality, and thus a disguise or pretext. What does color of law mean? Color of law is an appearance, a semblance, or simulacrum of law distinguished from which that is real. It is a prima facie or apparent right. Hence, it is a deceptive appearance without the substance of legal right. What does color of authority mean? Color of authority is that semblance or presumption of authority sustaining the acts of a public officer, which is derived from his apparent title to the office, or from a writ or other process in his hands, apparently valid and regular, yet having no right in law, to do an act done. What does color of office mean? Color of office is an act unjustly done by the countenance of an officer, being grounded upon corruption, to which the office is a shadow or color. What does allodial mean? Allodial refers to or pertains to allodium, such as allodial lands. Allodial means free and not holding of any lord or superior, owned without obligation of vassalage or fealty. Allodial is opposite of feudal. What is feudal? Feudal relates to or having the characteristic of a medieval fee, suggestive of feudalism, which is the system of political organization prevailing in Europe from the 9th century until about the 15th century, having as its basis the relation of lord or vassal with all land held under fee. The main characteristics are homage, the service of tenants under arms and in court, worship, and forfeiture. Feudal is the opposite of allodial. What is the function of the title chairman? A chairman is a presiding officer of an organization or committee. What is the function of the title moderator? A moderator is an officer who presides over a meeting, an assembly, or a discussion. What does the word sovereign mean? Sovereign means the supreme power, especially that over a body politic or dominion. It is having and possessing generalized curative potent powers and not subjects. Right, not subject to other. 93. In historical Moorish document called Message to America, Prophet Noble Joe Ali submits a brief statement on the Moorish American organization. He also speaks of the Renaissance. What is the Renaissance? The Renaissance began in the 14th century in Italy and is the revival of art, science, architecture, literature, and letters under the classical models brought into Europe by the Moors. What does the word Renaissance mean? Renaissance means to be born again. 95. A Mexim is the first true and divine name of what? A Mexim is the first and true divine name of Africa. What does the legal phrase civil liter mortuus mean? The legal phrase civil liter mortuus means dead in the eyes of the law, one who has lost all his rights, his civil rights and immunities, and is regarded as dead in the eyes of the law. What does the legal phrase in full life mean? The phrase in full life means one who is continuing in both physical and civil existence, and that is neither actually dead or civil liter mortuus. What does the word Nabi mean? Nabi means prophet. Noble Jew Ali said, I am a universal prophet, and my philosophy will be universal. What does the word universal mean? Universal means extending over, comprehending, affecting, or including the whole of something specified or implied, being throughout the universe or the world, everywhere, or by all nations, etc. Prophet Noble Jew Ali said, I want active Moors, not passive Moors. In the context of this statement, what does the word active mean? And what does the word passive mean? Action means originating or communicating action, working effectively and abounding energetically with assertion to the support of a cause or a job, etc. Passive means suffering from an action from without, as distinguished from the subject of action, yielding to the external force of will of another. In chapter 1 of the Holy Quran, Circle 7 of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, reference is made of the four elements. Can you name those four elements? The four elements referred to in chapter 1 of the Holy Quran, Circle 7, are the elements of fire, of water, of earth, and air. So we got those 101 questions and answer off for the record. And hopefully that was insightful and things to keep in the forefront of your mind. I'm going to transition to the Circle 7 and then close out in prayer and see if anybody had any thoughts after that. Chapter 24, Circle 7 Quran, obedience of children towards their father. From the secrets of Allah, let man learn wisdom and apply to himself the instruction they give. Go to the desert, my son, observe the young stork of the wilderness. Let him speak to thy heart. He beareth on his wings his aged sire. He lodged him in safety and supplieth him with food. The piety of a child is sweeter than the incense of Persia offering to the sun. Yea, more delicious than the odors waft from a field of Arabian spices of the western gales. Be grateful to thy father, for he gave thee life, to thy mother, for she sustained thee. Hear the words of his mouth, for they are spoken for thy good. Give ear to his abomination, for it proceedeth from love. He hath watched for thy welfare. He hath worked for thy ease. Do honor, therefore, to his age, and let not his gray hairs be treated with irreverence. Forget not thy helpless infancy, nor the forwardness of thy youth, and indulge the infirmities of thy aged parents. Assist and support them and the decline of life. So shall their hoary heads go down to the grave in peace, and thy own children in reverence of thy example shall repay thy piety with filial love. Right. So looking at trust law, we're looking at, you know, if you want your children to take care of you and honor you, leave a good example, you know, teach them respect and honor, guide them properly. Right. So I'm gonna close out in prayer and do a round for any thoughts, comments, statements. So Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Joe Ali. Amen. Islam. Let me turn this recording off.